Here we go.
Broadcasting live.
Listen live online 24/7.
24/7. Around the world.
Right here. Right now.
It's 300 Radio.
And you know this, man.
But no. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Sky Free Morning Show. Look, everybody, it's Friday and I'm feeling good today. How's everybody doing? We're not going to waste anybody's time. We're going to dive right into the show today. Everything's been going well on my end. Didn't do a show yesterday. Was trying to set up to do one yesterday, but it just kind of fell apart. But today we're going to get it going. We're going to get some content. We're going to try to push out as much good shit as we possibly can. But like I like to do every time, I like to check the level, stuff like that. So while we get the chill report going, I'm going to make sure everything's happening, and then we're going to get this show popping. All right. So for anyone who's not paying attention, this is 300radio.com. If you're not watching there, you won't see the full show. If you're catching it on YouTube and the playback, you don't see the full show. We play videos and everything. We get it popping over here. I promise you. You're going to want to be down with this. But you can't catch it unless you watch it at 300radio.com. And if you want to see the playback on YouTube, perfectly great. You can do that as well. You get to see my beautiful face all day long. But make sure when you're there, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, guys. Let's do that. Let's get that out the way early. But with that being said, like I said, I'm not going to waste anybody's time. Let's dive right into the show. Let's get into the chill report now. Boom.
It's time for the chill report.
It's about to go down.
Oh my goodness. This is my favorite part of the show. It's called the Chill Report. Oh, I love it. But the guy who gives the news, they hate to give the news.
Really?
For once in your life, just do the fucking news. All right? No. I'm gonna do the fucking news. No. Here is the fucking news.
All right, let's get Miss Lovey called up today. I ain't gonna be running alone today, guys. So let's see what my partner talking about. Let's get it going so we can get her in and out today. But get her called up, make sure everything's going well on her end. And so make sure everything's going. Told everybody, like, I'm gonna have her in a short period of time today, y'all. So let's make sure we utilize this time completely. All right, let's make sure we get that popping. We may not be having that at the moment. We definitely may not. Let's see. I just need to start calling her before I start shooting. That's what I need to do. It seems like it.
Hello?
Yo, what up? I didn't know if you was on the phone. Oh, could you hear me talking? No, I wasn't talking. I wasn't talking junk. I promise I wasn't talking junk. Hey, okay, first and foremost. All right, so, but like I said, I already told everybody I don't have you for a long period of time. We got about 3,000 in the queue. Hey, real quick before I got you, numbers are doing well. Then look, I was telling the people earlier, those shorts and reels that we've been putting up online have been getting a lot of traction. We got 50,000 views off those last week alone. So the show's kind of moving in a positive direction. I'm excited about it. But I know we're 2 days late, but I know what you want to get into. So let's get into the Shannon Sharpe thing. Let's get it over with, get out the way. Go.
Well, let me say two things. Just want everybody to know I got a little sick baby here, so if I have to jump off,
it's cool. I told him I said we won't have you for a short period of time today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And two, I just felt like you wanted to talk about Shannon.
Well, no, I've been talking about him all week, and it's the same narrative. This is Diddy all over again. This is Cosby all over again. We see it every year. I don't know why we act like it. You know what it is? I think every time it's a new story, it's still a new story to people. And to me, I just see the playbook being played over and over and over again. So,
well, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Now, we all was here for the Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
And if your theory is correct, and we were all here for the takedown of R. Kelly and takedown of Diddy.
Right.
My question to you would be, why do these idiots keep handing the gun to the murderer?
It's the same reason why a person who has diabetes will still continue to eat sugar. It's the same reason why an alcoholic will still drink alcohol. It's just when you have no discipline, when you have no real reason for why you do what you do, you're going to fall victim to it every time. Shannon really doesn't understand that white people is not his friend. I don't know why you think they are, but they're not. And he can't, Go ahead.
But what I mean is, just the stuff alone that he's admitted to is bad.
You talking about the kink shit? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about dating girls.
Oh, you talking about
That's
younger
what-
women?
I'm talking about a girl whose age ends with teen.
You talking about?
I'm
She was
talking
19 when
about
you
a
met
girl
her.
who probably still has her high school prom dress in her closet.
Props
That's
up.
what I'm talking about.
Props up.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, like it's giving. I'm grooming these young girls because the same reason why R. Kelly liked them young, because them the ones you could do the freaky stuff with.
Well,
They're the ones
okay.
that I can control.
Okay, so let me say this, because I am a man and I'm in a female-dominated business. So what I mean, my customer base is females, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I tell you, it ain't the teens alone. It is 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60-year-old ladies of giving this thing away like it's Skittles. I'm telling you it is. So I really cringe when I hear that word grooming. Because I do understand that there are some people who groom people to do things. Pimps groom prostitutes all day long for this stuff. Sex traffickers prep their prey for this all the time. But I think what generally happens with these types of men, I won't call them predators. I won't say that they're preying or grooming these women. I think more or less it's the fact of a 56-year-old country bammer like Shannon Sharpe from the backwoods of Georgia never thought that his black ass could get that an attractive woman. And so what he doesn't realize is that white women, and I hate to say this, not all white women, let me say that, but some white women will allow you at any age to do whatever you want to them if there's some paper attached to it. And I won't just make it them, specifically them, but we've seen it far too many times. And I think that's what he fell victim to more than in the grooming part. I don't think he had any intention on doing anything with that woman long term. I think it was just in the moment, I like doing kicky shit. That's what I got from it.
But this is what I'm saying, though. Shannon Sharpe is Shannon Sharpe.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon Sharpe can find probably any race of woman
He's probably doing it too.
that would do freaky deaky stuff with him. He's Shannon Sharpe.
He's probably doing it.
Famous. Yeah, he's famous, he's rich, he's all that. What I'm saying to you is, if he wants white, if his preference is white women, that is his prerogative,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have no issue with that. If your preference is freaky women, and you a freak, that's who you need to be dating.
Right.
But and I'm going to use the word groom, because they no business for a man, not in his 50s, in his 40s, or his 30s, needs to be trying to pursue a 19-year-old child, because I don't care that it's legal.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a mental and a moral.
Whoa. Did you put morality on him? Wow.
It is not morally right to go after a person who, because of their age, does not have the mental capability to handle the type of manipulation and whatever it is that you're wanting from them.
Okay, so you're basically saying
to be able to handle that.
So you don't think it was just, this is a nice tight white body that I like, and I want to drop some of this baby gravy in you. You don't think that's what it was? It was just about the sex.
He said he was in a relationship with this child.
Okay,
He
now-
used the word relationship. He didn't say he met this girl and had a one-night stand or hit it a couple of times and quit it. He was in a relationship.
Okay, well, I'll say this. Can I say this, though? I will say this. At my ripe old age, I'm not dating a 19-year-old, and I'm younger than Shannon, right? I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
I'm not doing it. To me, I don't have a problem. Well, let me ask you a question before I go there. Let me ask you this. Recently, Tracy Ellis Ross said that she doesn't date men her own age because she finds them to be pretty toxic, right? Their masculinity be pretty toxic. Now, I'm not going to get into whether I agree or disagree, but she says that's why she likes dating younger men. Do you have an issue with that?
No, and I don't have an issue with Shannon dating younger women.
It's just the
I
age
have an
gap.
issue with him dating children.
Okay. So what age are you okay with it? Let me make sure I understand you too.
Okay.
Before we get there.
So let's say this. They say that adult women and men truly do not fully develop their brains until they reach the age of 25.
Okay. I heard 25, 27. I heard that before. Yes.
Okay. That age, I would say to Shannon, now you ain't got no business dating no 25-year-old woman, but if that's what you like, I love it for you. But if you tell me he dating a 19-year-old, I'm gonna be you sick bastard. You need some help.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna say.
And I get it, because like I said, I don't want to date him young. I guess the only thing for me, and this is my only conjecture about it here, is that, because I said this earlier this week. I've been talking about him all week, right? So what I said about him earlier this week was this. Y'all gonna learn to leave these white women alone. Have you noticed there ain't no 19-year-old... Listen to what I'm saying. There ain't no black women at 19... And I know what you're saying. Let me get to you. I'm going to get to what you're saying, because I agree with you. That's way too young. So I'm not disagreeing with you. But I was going to say before I even get there was that, first, I don't want to take the spotlight off of what the real issue right now is. And they're railroading him, in my opinion. But I will speak to what you said. 19 is just way too young. 19 is too young for anyone to date. But I also say this too. That's why I don't think 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 people should be even engaging in real relationships, because you don't know yourself or anything about this world at that point.
I agree with that too. I agree. You don't. You have no idea what you really want to be dating seriously.
Too many people. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
You'll be shocked. I do agree that they coming after him, right? 100%. Because we know even the girl's lawyer, who she's hired as her lawyer, right?
Which is funny, yeah.
We saw what he tried to do with Jay-Z.
We know he's a liar.
Keyword.
I said we know that lawyer's a liar. That's all I said.
Yeah. He lost his ability to do law, I heard, I think in the state of New York, because of what he tried to do to Jay-Z. But the key word is he tried. He tried, but because you can't, you can try to force or you can push somebody to lie, or try to convince somebody to lie, or set somebody up and all this other stuff. But if you don't fall for it, see, let me tell you why I don't feel sorry for the R. Kellys of the world and the Diddy's of the world. And I my opinion is still on the shelf as far as Bill Cosby.
Wow, but I didn't even know that. But go ahead. Go ahead.
It's on the shelf. I have not made a good determination one way or the other in regards to him. But let me tell you why I don't have no sympathy for them. Because they allowed themselves to be put in those situations. What they need to be more is like the Cat Williamses of the world and the Jay-Z's of the world that know what the Cat say at with Shannon's interview. He said, I ain't got no problem with white women. White women just as good as every other woman in the world, but they dangerous. They dangerous, and they'll turn your life around in 2 weekends. Right. He said that to Shannon a little over a year ago. What his stupid ass is.
Well, can I say something to that? Can I say something to that though? And I agree with you, because I always tell people, if I had made it a success out of myself in my 20s, I probably would have AIDS and 60,000 babies running around here everywhere. Because I would have been reckless as hell. So thank God no success came early for me. But I also say this too. The only reason why I'm not even pushing back. I just want to add this in when it comes to it. I agree this about all those entertainers. You're falling victim to stupid shit that you should know better by now. But I also know the Cat Williams of the world are like, if I had to take civil rights leaders, those are your Malcolms and your Martins. Those are the guys, especially Malcolm. Malcolm had a level of discipline that I could tell his mission. He had a mission, if you get to learn that man. But I don't compare other people who are in the movement to him, because I know that each one of us have something we will fall victim to. What it is for Shannon is, and this is what I do, same way we do when we took parents who don't know better. Like we have a parent who's like, look, my parent didn't raise me well, but they didn't know any better, and you start giving them grace because of their upbringing. I do the same thing for Shannon. Shannon was raised in the backwoods of Georgia. He was not the star of his family. He talks with a country twang. Only thing it is, when he got older, he embraced his country ass and it exploded for him. But them young versions of him still has them ties on his head. He knows that he don't supposed to deal with white people. He know he ain't good enough in his mind. These are little subconscious things that I know that he don't talk about, but it's in him because we all have that in them. I heard Dr. Umar say one time, and I totally agree with him, that we all have a little European inside of us because that's the way we've been conditioned to be. And so what you have to do is actively fight that little European that's inside of our head because that person's not good for us. And not all of us are good enough or strong enough to do it. I think Shannon got too big for his britches, just like most people do when they get money. They get cocky and then they lose. You want to know, that's why I say I respect the people like the Floyd Mayweathers who said, if I'm going to stay undefeated, if I'm going to be this cocky, I have to put in the work every time. And I don't think that everybody else does that. I think some people, Kevin Hart's a prime example. Kevin Hart put in work, was working his ass off, got to the top and got lazy. And that's just my personal opinion. And so when you get lazy, this is the shit that happened. Shannon got lazy. You let that little girl get at you. You should have been paying attention, but you let your little excitement for the little white pussy you thought you never could get. That's what it was. He got excited and thought he could never get it, and that's what it was. And it just he fell victim to it. But this is the last thing I'm gonna say. This is the last thing I'm saying. I'll move on. I wanted to say this. My bad. I went on long, but I wanted to say this. But I still don't think that even though he's stupid, he should have to suffer the way he's suffering, because white men do not have to. White men can fuck up and come back from it all the time. Black men don't get that same right. That's all I was gonna say.
See, this is where we fundamentally different. Where your mindset is, white men aren't punished, so
No.
black men shouldn't be punished. My mindset is, black men are punished when we gonna start punishing white men. In other words, I'm not going to absolve you of your wrongdoings because other people get away with it. We need to make sure that everybody gets
equal justice. Equal justice. That's what you're saying.
Equal justice. Exactly.
Yes.
And so push. If you would say pushing for white men to get the justice that, or to receive the punishment that they deserve for their actions,
right,
then we would be 100% on par.
Well,
but to constantly try to absolve black men because
but that's not what I'm doing.
Getting punished.
But I don't think that's what I'm doing.
This is my mindset. Yeah.
I don't think that's what I'm doing when I come to black men. Because the reason why I say this is because of this. I really don't think, like in these situations that we like to highlight specific ones because these are really big talking points in the last 5-10 years. The R. Kellys, the Bill Cosbys, all of this, right? In the middle of this, I would always say R. Kelly did something that was against the law in this country in the early 2000s, and they let him go. So my issue now isn't the fact of I do agree with you. They should get punished the same way that we do, but I think that we're getting unjustly punished, and I think that they're using just court of public opinion to do it. Because look at Bill Cosby. Out of those 50 plus cases that they actually say that he did, do you know every time that someone dug into one of those stories, that same woman had to recant their story? Not only that, I'll give you one we never talked about. Deshaun Watson at the NFL, I can tell the Houston Texans owner decided with that man, we're going to ruin his career because he wanted out of Houston. And they're doing it to him every day. And I just see, when I see these things, it always be hearsay and there's always be a white woman at the end of it. But then at the end, nobody ever goes to jail. You ever notice that? And if they do go to jail, they end up getting out most of the time. See, that's why I know, like Diddy, if Diddy gets out of jail after being in jail for over a year and they let him go, then why was he in the first fucking place?
I hear what you're saying. All I'm going to say, and I don't know, I can't really speak a lot because I don't know a lot about that case. And I'm going to be honest, the reason why I don't have much of an opinion on the Bill Cosby case is I didn't really follow that.
And I did.
Very closely.
I did.
So I I can't, really draw an opinion on that either. But what I can say is this.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, because the only other thing I was gonna say to it, because you talking to a person who I follow cases, not code of public opinion. Because like I'll tell you another person I know that you're gonna probably disagree with me, but OJ didn't kill anybody.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with you.
Yeah, I know you don't. But you know why you don't agree? And I'm gonna tell you the reason why you don't agree with me, because you have 30 years of the media telling you that he's guilty. That's why you have it. You have TV shows and movies and everything else. That court case, when you watch that court case, and I'm telling you, when you watch that court case to the T, like I have, there's no way possible this man killed those people.
How are you gonna tell me the reason why I think he?
Because I know you didn't watch the case. I know you didn't watch that case, because if you did, you would be talking with me right now. I know you would be.
I absolutely did watch the case.
Okay,
but let me tell you,
we were teenagers at the time.
Huh?
We were teenagers at the time. I'm talking about as an adult. Did you study that case?
No, I did. No, I did not study the case.
I did.
What I did, but my opinion is based on. Well, let me ask you this: why is it totally impossible that he did it then?
Well, logistically, it was no way possible for him to kill that way. Logistically, from that flight from.
But I'm asking,
that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna tell you, just before diving into any other part of the case, there was no way possible for him to get from LA to Vegas and back to LA in the time frame that they say he did. It was impossible, and no one ever brings that up. No one ever brings that up. It's virtually impossible. They could not have done it.
Well, wouldn't that been case closed right then and there then? If
yeah.
Made that
well, remember he got off. Remember?
Yeah, but why
so
he got off?
He beat the case. Let me give you real quick, and I'll shut up and I'll tell you why he beat it in under 30 seconds. For one, the head prosecutor basically pleaded the fifth, and when you plead the fifth, you're pleading saying I'm not going to tell the truth. When they asked him why did you plant evidence on OJ, he planted evidence and then pleaded the fifth. That's one. You don't have to. The truth does not need a lie to support it. A lie needs another lie to support it. That's one. Two, the man, Mark Furman, was a third-degree black belt. They said straight up, he killed 2 people and had no defense wounds on him at all. And the man was a third-degree black belt. These are things that just doesn't make sense whatsoever. Do you know that everyone that was involved with that case, Mark Furman, Nicole Brown, and even some other people heard, they were known for hanging out with mobsters at a place, and they're not the only people that died. Her best friend died too. Did you know that?
No.
Yes. See, all this stuff comes up in the case. They don't talk about it no more. They just basically says OJ's guilty. And see, he makes it worse because he's a coon. Or he was a coon. So he made it worse.
Where were you able to find this information? Because I don't remember this stuff coming up.
It was in the court. If you go to the trial,
or even in his interviews and stuff.
He does not. If you go to the trial, they talked about this in the trial. You can go back and watch. I've seen it in multiple different places that I've seen it at. This is not. And see, one thing I always say too, when I do research, you have to put. And I've pulled the case file on this before. And the reason why I did it, because somebody else got to argue with me, basically said the same thing, OJ did it. And I said, yes, he did it. If 30 years of my motherfucker telling you did it, yeah, you did it. And he don't make it any better because he loved the white folks so much. And for one, we had already cast them aside in our culture. That's why I always tell you when I be arguing with you, if you don't have a black base and you're black, I don't care if you want to be with white people. You're not going to get supported.
Wait. Did you say we casted him aside?
No, I
we
said
had already casted him aside.
No, what I'm talking about is I look at it like this. I am a foundational black American. I love my people. I'm one of my people, but I'm sorry to say there are coons inside of our culture. It still doesn't take away from the fact that they're part of your culture. OJ's a black American, and he shitted on us. And when a lot of times when you shit on your culture, people don't fuck with you.
Well, then that means he shitted on us first then.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it still doesn't make him guilty because he shitted on his own culture. He still is innocent.
No. I was just referring to the statement that we dumped him.
No, what I mean is we don't support him. But regardless, and I get why we don't support him, because he was cooning. It's like if what's name comes out later, which he probably is, because Clarence Thomas, when they throw Clarence Thomas under the bus, because they're gonna throw him under the bus eventually. When they do, then of course he can't come back over here because he shitted on the culture for so long. But it's your own fault. That's what they do. They like to separate you from your culture and then take you out. That's what it always happens. It's the same way every time. What did Damon say?
He separated himself.
No, I get it, but that's what I'm saying. Now, but look at it like this. The boy was a star since the time he was a child. You know, like I know in sports, they get these kids young. They surround them with nothing but white people. They surround them with nothing and take them out of their culture. They don't do it. Why do you think Charles Barkley act the way that he do? Why do you think Shaq acts the way that they do? They were child stars. Why do you think Raven acts the way that she does? They were child stars and they separated them from the culture so early. They don't know they do not know what it's like to live an existence as a black person. They really don't.
You don't think Charles Barkley knows what it's like to live in existence as a black person?
Charles Barkley comes from the South. He's country as hell, distant and third. But you got to realize, from the age of 18, the only people who's ever gave him anything is going to be a white person. They always say the same thing. I get why they separate you when you get up to the top. They want you to wheel away from your base. And remember, nobody makes it popular in this country anymore if you love black people. If you're black and loving on black people, they're not going to support you. White people are not going to give you the keys to the machine. Can you name one person who's blackity black that really loves black folks that white folks love on too? Remember, they just told Shador Sanders he can't go in the first draft because of who his daddy is. His daddy was a fucking star. It's like, give me Shador Sanders. Why would I not want him? You know what I'm saying? Your dad was a star. They don't like Deion. In my opinion. Uh-oh, did I lose you? Hello? Levin.
Sorry. Accidentally muted.
Oh, you were talking when I ain't hear nothing.
I'm so glad you brought up Shador
No.
because I knew we were going to talk about Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of what we know him to have done, I knew you were going to give him a pass simply because he's a black man.
No, I gave him no. Hopefully you said, hold on. Listen, I'm gonna give you the whole time. I'm gonna give you the whole floor. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm not giving Shannon a pass because he's black. I'm telling you like this. I am an equal opportunity getter. If you fuck up, I am not going to support you just because you black. I will not do that. I have a list of motherfuckers that I talk about all the time that are black and successful. I don't give a fuck. Kevin fucked himself. When Kevin was doing all that fucking around, he fucked himself. I ain't never supported that shit. I won't support you if you do wrong. I will support you if you have $100 million deal and then all of a sudden here comes a $50 million bill coming right behind it. That's what I'm saying.
But the reason why I said, okay, but you're supporting Shannon Sharpe.
He did nothing wrong.
Huh?
I don't think he did nothing wrong. So why would I not support him?
How have you made that determination?
Because I saw the text messages of the woman asking for the shit, then to turn around as they're talking about it. I know that when people have kinky relationships, I did a whole episode 2 years ago when I first started the podcast talking about domestic discipline, which I had never heard of. Have you ever heard of it?
Domestic what?
Discipline. You ever heard of it?
No.
It's a thing in the Christian faith. There's a small sector in there called domestic discipline. If you look it up, there's a way where men are whooping, and I'm talking about whooping, are physically whooping their wives with the wife's consent because they can't seem to act right. Like, say if you're married and your wife get loud with you, I promise you, it's all they have a whole group for this stuff that people are doing it.
I'm that's not why I'm saying, oh my God. Even if that's true, you have, first of all, what is it about Shannon that got you thinking that's his mentality? He has to whoop on his woman to keep her in place.
No, I don't. I'm not. No. Did you read the text messages that he put out?
No.
Okay, you need to go read the text messages before you say, don't say nothing else at all until you go read the text messages, because now it's going to cloud what the fuck you've read. I promise you, just go read the text messages. What are you going to say about Shador? Okay. Please don't say nothing till you read the text message. I promise you. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't say nothing about Shador?
No, don't say nothing about Shannon and this whole situation if you haven't read Shannon's text messages between him and her. Please don't say it, because what it's going to do is it's going to cloud that audio that they put out very bad. It looks just like that was their relationship if you look by the way he put it out. And that's why I'm saying it.
Let me tell you something. If that was a 30-year-old woman that is mature enough to decide the type of relationship that she wants, but a 19-year-old girl who just got out of high school, that's grooming. That is grooming.
Love it. When I'm saying to you, I'll say it to you just like this. You can call it whatever you want. You can use any derogatory term towards it. It's not illegal. So what I'm saying to Shannon
Never
is,
said it was.
no, but what
We
I'm
can
saying is,
both
no,
agree.
this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Both agree it's not illegal, but it is immoral.
Okay, this is again, morality has a beginning and an end. You may say 21, somebody else may say 25. It's subjective. What I am looking at, that is not my job to judge that man on his morality. My job, the conversation I'm having is this a legal matter? This is not a legal matter, is what I'm discussing.
No, I know that's not all it is.
To me, it is.
We already know the girl is of legal age.
Yes.
We get that. So no, the legality part, that's not even a factor of what it is. Because guess what? Even if he's found not guilty of any illegal activity, if you think that man's going to ever have a career after the way he talks and treats this 19-year-old who just got out of high school, if you think
what's
that
funny?
the world, because I have never seen I have never seen people in totality be totally disgusted by the fact that this man, not only did he decide that he wants to date a child, then he goes on and treats her the way, from what I'm gathering, these text messages got it where he must be just dominating her.
No. That's why I say go read the text message. No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I say go read the text messages, because I can see your perception is that he introduced it to this lifestyle, and what I'm trying to tell you is I don't think that's what it is. So agree.
How would you know?
No, that's what I'm saying. Go read the text messages. Then let's come back and have a conversation. Because the reason what it is, you're in here blind right now.
I will go find these text messages.
Yeah, you go right on his Twitter. He still has them up there. He has them up on his Twitter. He isn't hiding them. And that's why I say, go read them. And the reason why I say read them is for this very reason, is because it's like this. If you're going to have a story, somebody's telling you a story. All right, even better. Remember when they would always say that Bobby Brown ruined Whitney Houston, and then they started talking to people who were around that day, and they were like, nah, Whitney was kind of like that, and kind of introduced Bobby into some of this stuff. And but everybody was like, they were shocked because you would never thought that she was the one. What I'm trying to say is, I'm not trying to say whether I would date a 19, whether it's right to date a 19. What I'm saying is this is why I make it a legal matter, is because I can't determine who did what. Another 19-year-old could have showed her how to be some kinky shit into this. I don't know.
Let me tell you this, and this is why I am leaning, because we don't know. It's literally been out a week, right? A lot of information has been dropped from both sides.
Right.
But one thing we cannot ignore is innocent men do not offer.
Nope, they do. And I'm going to tell you what I mean. I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean. And I hear this all the time. People say that. And your pushback, I already know what your rebut going to be to what I say. But people do it all the time. Lawyers will recommend to their clients what's the most economic and best way to go about it. May not be good information, may not be good information, bad information. I also see where lawyers tell their clients to take plea deals and they know they're innocent all the time. We see this all the time in our culture. So what I'm saying is, I don't take that as face value, as being, because you're talking about the 10 million they say he offered her. And even with that one, Shannon's camp is saying, I never offered 10 million. Shannon said,
No.
I know what you're ready to say.
I'm confirmed he offered $10 million.
Now imagine, let's go with your narrative. I'm going to just go with your narrative. So he offered 10 million. 10 million would have basically been to the point to where, what if we go to this case and we go through the entire thing, just like you said, and I said this yesterday about him, when Shannon dropped it, he was walking away from ESPN until the preseason. I was saying to myself, I hope this nigga know he ain't never coming back, right? See, he doesn't realize it. And so what I think when people offer money sometimes is because the reason why he's never coming back, even if he gets off, which I think he will, even if he gets off, he's never going to be on ESPN being his, they never come back and do a retort or rebut to what happened. They never let black people back in. So what's going to happen is he may have said, let's do the plea deal. His lawyer may have said, give her a plea deal because you're not going to survive a rape case because no black man does. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, and you don't, black men never survived those cases. Nate Parker still hasn't survived a rape allegation to this day.
Say that. Say what now?
Nate Parker still hasn't survived a rape allegation to this day. Gone.
Okay, he hasn't, but to say no black man has ever survived.
Who has been accused of rape and survived it?
Kobe.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're talking about the guy that they denigrated his name right afterwards. He died.
Tell me one thing. Oh, so people gonna say what they're gonna say. Tell me how that affected his career.
You know what? You're right. Hey,
how did that affect his career?
No, you're right. Let's go ahead. You are totally correct. Kobe Bryant was able to beat the case. Now, I don't know whether that was true or not. I can't remember the whole ins and outs and the legalities of that one. I can't remember. But that's a Kobe. You're right. Let's go with Kobe Bryant. There you go. Now, do you want to say if you got money, do you want the odds that you're going to be Kobe or you're going to be the list of other niggas that's over there with you?
Say that again.
I said, I know a lawyer is going to tell, because if I was Shannon's lawyer, I would say, you're right. Kobe beat it. But then I'm going to list of the 80,000 other black men who didn't. I'm going to say, now, which one do you think is going to be you? Especially when Kobe was 23, 24 years old in his prime. And Shannon ain't nothing but a news personality, which they only just trying to kill Club Shay Shay. That's all the fuck they're doing. Club Shay Shay is going to take the hit. So what I'm saying is, it's just ironic that every black man that is graping somebody is always the one who has money or is looking to compete with somebody white. Because all it is, ESPN is dying. Club Shay Shay is... Did
you say them the only ones to get rape allegations is rich?
No, I'm talking about when it comes to black males, when they're business, the only ones that seem to hit those girls' rape allegations are ones that seems to be doing something. You ever notice that?
Let me tell you, did you see how masterfully Jay-Z beat his rape allegations?
Yeah, I agree. I know he played it. He played his smart.
When you're innocent, it's real easy. It makes no sense to me, and it'll never make sense to me that you are innocent of all allegations, and the only proof that somebody has been doctored. Okay. Like I heard they're saying the audio tapes were doctored.
No, okay. So I'll give you a reason.
There's supposed to be a...
Can I say this? I'm going to give you a reason why I think that why people like Jay-Z was smart, but I'm going to tell you why Shannon's case was worse, and I'm going to tell you why. Now, you remember, was it Alton Brown, the one that was walking in the street in Ferguson, and Darren Wilson guy said that he told him to get out the street, and then the black dude just tried to reach his gun and tried to kill him? You remember that, right?
That was Mike Brown.
Mike Brown.
I was in Louisiana.
Okay, Mike Brown. You're right. Mike Brown. You remember that story, right? Mm-hmm. You know why black people knew that was stupid? Because you've never seen a black person do that before. But we see white people, cops, regular folks all the time, online, on the news all the time, stopping random black people and asking what the fuck they do in their neighborhoods. You see that though, right?
Yeah.
Makes common sense. So what I'm trying to say is that, but now take the story with Carmelo Anthony right now. Carmelo Anthony right now, that situation we've seen a million times where white people feel emboldened to come over to a black person and tell them what the fuck to do. We see it all the time. Mm-hmm. But what we don't see is a black person just pull out a knife and start stabbing white folks. We never see that. So what I'm saying is with this situation right here, Jay-Z situation, they had nothing. But when you have an audio tape, all white people need is a smoking gun. Doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. Because the shit with Carmelo don't make any fucking sense. But they said we gonna still charge him. So what I'm saying is that's what Shannon's going through right now. Shannon had an audio tape of him saying to that woman, I'm gonna choke the shit out of you. Whether they liked it or not, that words came out his mouth. That was the smoking gun. That's what I'm saying.
Well, okay, if we want people to stop pretending that when we see videos and audios of our abuse, but then when we, when one of us is called in, it's, that was just an S&M. That ain't nothing.
But see, this is what I'm saying. If this is what I'm trying to tell you. If this is what we heard, if I heard that audio tape, and I don't see no text messages, I don't see no interaction between this woman asking for him to stick shit around her throat and choke the shit out of her. He's asking for it when she's asking for this. And I'm talking about, and this is just that's on the lighter end of what she asked for. When I see someone out of their own mouth, not someone forcing you to do it, but someone's asking you to do it, and then you say for months this man has been raping you, but you go back, that don't make fucking sense to me, is all I'm saying. And what I'm saying to her is
you've never heard of women being in relationships with violent men who beat and rape the women they're in relationship with.
Yep, sure have heard it.
In that relationship with out of fear.
Yeah, and you know what else they don't do? You know what they don't? Those same women ain't women that's suing with Bugsby for $50 million. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
That's because most of those women aren't dating people at Shannon Sharpe's level.
Okay. Well, here's the first smoking gun that I need to know whether a person's telling the truth or not. The law for rape, because of the Cosby case, now you can bring him up even if the statutes have passed. So if it ain't a criminal case like Jay-Z said, I agree with Jay-Z. If it's so bad, you need to bring me up on criminal charges. Yeah. So when you ask for $50 million and no criminal charges, I can't believe that, and I've seen those text messages. That's all I'm saying. This is not about him being a black man. If that was a white guy, in the same situation, I felt the same way.
This is why this comes off biased.
Okay.
For you to accept whole text messages that can be doctored, but audios of him being violent, you've decided is BS.
I heard this. No.
BS.
No,
his proof is
I didn't say that. See, you're projecting to me. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is, if you go into a court of law, there's a defense and there's a prosecution. The prosecution has to present themselves. The defense has to present themselves. And in the middle, I have to determine who's telling the truth. When you come up on civil charges and no criminal charges, I'm going to look at that as one of those issues. That's one thing to determine whether it's telling the truth or not. Another one, you say, it ain't just about the text messages. It ain't just about that. I'm saying when it was something I just had a thought in my head. It went out of my head. Damn it. I had a good point, Lovey. Shit. Something else that she did. It was something else that she did.
That hurts me when that happens.
But it's something else that she did that lets me know, when Shannon said this, Shannon says, I know the tape that she's talking about. And if it's real, drop the, he said, I don't have access to it. If I did, I would. But you have it. Put the whole thing out. Most people who are guilty don't say, put the whole video out.
Well, what do you expect the brother to say? Listen,
I expect the brother who's innocent to say shit like he's saying. That's what I said. That's what I expect him to say.
This is why this rings true to me. If you have concocted a scam, in essence, what you're saying is this girl's trying to scam Shannon out of money, right? And if you know that these allegations are false, if you know and/or your lawyer knows that these are false allegations, but you've been able to create or have evidence to tweak things to look a certain way, right? Mm-hmm. You know you still have to prove it in court. Mm-hmm. I heard that Shannon Sharpe's lawyer said the audios are doctored, right?
He said release the whole thing.
It's very easy to prove that in court.
Yeah.
It's easy. It will be easy to prove all of that, the girl's evidence to be false, right? Why would you risk going into a courtroom with false information or false proof on a lie, on a scam, to get $50 million when you could get blown out the water?
Love it.
When you've been offered $10 million.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you take the $10 million knowing that it's a scam? Mm-hmm. But you're gonna leave yourself open to be exposed as. But what you just did is what you said I'm doing. You're taking what seems like would be common sense to something and projecting yourself. I don't know why if someone offered it, because I keep telling you, I hear conflicting arguments when it comes to the $10 million. But even if it's true, I don't know why she didn't take it. But then tell me this: why would anybody got to do is? I promise you.
Okay.
I promise you. All you got to do is Google it.
Okay, I'll tell you this.
Confirmed Shannon offered $10 million.
Well, I'll say this. I told you the same thing about Oprah taking money from the Kamala Harris camp, and you didn't want to believe that. And I told you, just Google it. It's right there. But what I'm saying. Okay, well, I'll Google it. I'll do it. I promise I will. But I'm saying this to you. What I'm saying to you is that people lie in court every day. When Amber Geiger, what's her name that was with Johnny Depp? She's in court taking cocaine and lying her ass off. It is all the people lie all the fucking time. I don't know why people do what they do. I don't view the world the way through my eyes for other people.
Well, who sued who though?
She had him in court. He gave her a countersuit because she was lying. So that's what I'm trying to say. So no, people lie all the time, and I'm going to say this, and I don't want to disrespect my white woman base, but most of the time it's white women. I'm sorry. It is
Don't
what
worry.
it is.
I promise you don't have a white woman.
I got a couple. I actually do, to be honest with you. I actually do. And it's just, but that's why I say I don't dislike white women, because the white women that I know a couple actually personally that watch and leave comments the whole nine. And what they tell me is the same thing. He's not lying. You're just being honest about it. And it's not specific to each individual white person. If you're practicing white supremacy, then I'm talking about you. If you're not practicing it, a hit dog don't need to holler. Or unhit dog don't need to holler. Let me say it that way.
Well, I'm gonna make a statement, because I don't have much time left. But what I was gonna say, why I was glad you brought up Shador.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about
that is clearly
racism.
Clearly, a bias against Dion.
Yes,
and it can't be nothing. They hate Deion Sanders because he is unapologetically black.
Yeah, he does what he wants.
Not only is he unapologetically black, but he is just that damn good at what he does, and it eats them up.
You know why
he is?
You know why he is. And the reason why I think it eats them up so much, and see, people don't understand this. One thing that white supremacy does not like, and it definitely doesn't like it from black people, is competition. See, what people don't realize about Deion, Deion represents not just because Deion was cocky, not because Deion was not only cocky, but damn good at it. Deion, the best cornerback of all times. The reason why they don't like Deion is because Deion threatens their way of life. See, you have to understand, when you have becoming a sports family, if Shador becomes a star, then fuck Eli and Archie Manning. You have Deion and Shador. And see, that threatens their way of life. Remember, they're talking shit about Shador when I remember Archie Manning said about Eli that Eli ain't going to the San Diego Chargers. When your daddy step in the way and do that, then nobody say the Mannings were bad. Then nobody say that Eli needs to fall out the first round because he's going to be uncoached. None of that shit. They do that because Deion's a threat to their way of life. He's an amazing coach, and they don't want players to start coaching the players because them old white guys ain't going to have a job anymore. That's all that is.
Yeah, and so I mentioned that because I'm like, just be careful who you take a stand for, and which one really applies to your ideology, and which ones is just some stupid ass.
You know why it don't matter. You know why it don't matter.
They get caught up in their own mess.
You know why it don't matter. It does not matter because one thing I learned from the great Dr. Amos Wilson, I told you he's an unofficial ancestor of mine, the greatest doctor of all time. He said this, and I totally agree with him. When it comes to black people, we're not criminal. They just criminalize our behavior. So what's going to mean is if the crime rate starts dropping, they'll just make something else against the law that they know that we do. And that's why I agree with you. But the reason why I don't get caught up in who I support and who I don't support, I support truth, not color. If you do something wrong as a black person, you ain't getting no support from me. If the shit seems like
this is the problem, though, Lamar.
But
you find ways to convince yourself.
I go off of fact. This is what I'm saying. This is why I'm such a component on this is why I'm so big into history. This is what I'm trying to say. The reason why I know that when I go get in my car, I know where to stick the key. I know where to put my foot. I know how to drive. You want to know why? Because I did it yesterday. A person who ain't drive yesterday don't know how to drive a car. What's wrong with black folks is we don't know our history. The shit that brothers are going through right now happened in the 60s, in the 50s, in the 40s, in the 30s, and every time the situation seemed like they did it because that was the reason. That's the purpose. And I always say this, if the devil's going to come to you, he's not going to come and say, I'm the devil. He's going to come in a way where he's coming like your friend.
That's fine. But what I'm saying to you is to have a week's worth of conversation, no trial, no witnesses, and the only thing that's being put out on both sides is information that could or could not be doctored on both sides.
Right, I agree.
And to make a determination that the man is innocent or guilty, and we know this for a fact, is not. It's impossible. What I'm saying to you is, I can say that based on the information that I've seen, I cannot make a determination that man raped that girl. I can't even make a determination that man was violent towards this girl. What I can make a determination is, though, and so I'm not saying this man is guilty of rape. I'm not saying this man is guilty of domestic violence. What I'm saying is the only thing that we know for a fact, and that is this man has messed with a very, very, very young, if you want to call her a woman. And that you want to play who says it ain't 21, who 22? We all know. We don't have to play the game that this man had no business messing with this girl who just got out of high school. So that is the only thing I'm judging that fool on.
I know.
And until we can get a trial or a confession or some real bona fide court case that we can say legitimately have an educated opinion on whether he's guilty or innocent, I'm not going to step out here and say this man is guilty. I'm not going to sit up there and say this man is innocent.
Can I say
what
something?
I'm going to say, go ahead.
Can I say this? I want to say this because I totally agree, but I think this is the problem. When I'm listening to you when you say this about him, if it was on, you ever notice that when it comes, you ever heard a white person say, you'll be watching the news and they'll ask a white person, does racism still exist? And if they're on the left, they'll say, of course it does. But you notice that whenever a situation that seems racial come up, those same very people say that's not racial. You want to know why? Because one thing in this world that white supremacy learns is that they've made it to where you have to basically admit before we can convict. So what I'm saying to you is that when you look at these situations, it is not, I have to look at more than what's on that paper. This is why I say it's not about his text messages or that phone call. What I have to look at is everything that goes on with black people when they're doing it. When Shannon was just on underneath Skip Bayless, he was great because he was making somebody else's money. But now this nigga's making his own money. Now all of a sudden he's a predator. They keep doing that with every black man that gets a level of wealth. He's a predator. And what I'm saying to us is let me finish. Let me finish my statement.
Okay, you can't say that they're saying he's a predator. He admitted he's a predator
this is
when
what,
he admitted
no, this
he
is what
dated a 19-year-old.
This is what I'm saying to you. You are telling me your opinion. See, if we poll all Americans, you're going to fit into a group that says, I don't like for men in 50s to date 19-year-olds. Then there's going to be people say that it's okay for them to date 19-year-olds. It's all subjective. So what I'm saying to you is, that's why I say there is no age, because you say 19. That's why I said 21 for some people. That's why I say somebody should say 30. You said 30 for some things. It doesn't matter. My thing is that black man, whether he has a kink or not, it doesn't matter. It's not illegal, so he should not have to quit his job. He should not have to have his platform taken down.
You
so
what? Me that.
No, what I'm saying is no. What I'm saying, I didn't ask you.
Like this.
I'm not addressing you per se when I say that. What I'm saying is you asked me to support. My support isn't for his kink. My support is that man ain't did shit to be fired, is what I'm saying. So if he's being fired, I'm going to support him.
Fair enough. I agree with that. No, the man did not do anything illegally wrong, and therefore he should not be fired.
No.
But you got to remember too, how do I put this? There is a clause that a lot of companies do, like if you're out doing things that are not coinciding with our company or with our values or what are this or what are that,
right?
Then we can decide. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, all I'm gonna say is this.
Go ahead.
and I'm this is gonna be my last thing on it. Innocent or guilty, the fool put himself in that situation. Yeah, Lamar, I'm gonna have to go.
All right, go jump. You jump. Go and do what you need to do. I appreciated the time. I hit you later. Check on the baby.
Okay.
All right, sugar. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Let's get Miss Lovey off the phone. I ain't even put her up there. That's how much she done touched my spirit today. Let me address something she said, and then I'm gonna go to commercial break, and then we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna close out this Friday show. I get her points. I get it. Was it bright? No. But I'm gonna tell you, I go a step further. It wasn't bright what Shannon did, not because I agree or disagree of dating 19-year-olds. You like it, I love it. You want to date anything that's legal age, I can't say a motherfucking thing to you. That's your business. But I don't really even care about any of that. What I want to address to my beautiful co-host, Ms. Lovey, is this. It does not matter, and it should not matter what that man does in his personal life if he's not breaking the law. And I get what she says when she says that she wants white men to be held to the same standard as black men and not in reverse where black guys get off like white guys. I'm not asking for black men to get off. What I'm asking for is for black men who are not committing crimes to not get prosecuted for shit they didn't do. That's all that I'm asking. And then when we bring up white guys, we use them as examples of people who never get in trouble whether they did it or not. See, that's the thing that I think people miss when it comes to this. It is not a support for Shannon's kink, SBM, DMB, whatever that shit they into. It's not support of any of that. It's just basically saying that is that man's business. There is a discrepancy between what he's saying and what she's saying. And then also, like I said, no one ever wants to see to bring up criminal charges. No one wants to see you suffer other than economic. When it comes down to that, you have to say something ain't right. That's all we saying. And just like with Diddy, if Diddy is this violent motherfucker that you had video footage for years about all the time, why'd you let him walk around? Why is it ironic that he's at war with the liquor company? Now he goes to prison. Shannon signs a $100 million deal. Now he's ready to go to prison. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Bill Cosby wants to buy NBC. Now he's in trouble. Come on, man. We gotta, you can see the right on the wall. Again, I say this all the time. In the height of Jim Crow, when lynchings was a thing, 90% of the lynchings happened to business owners in our community. That is not a coincidence. The reason why it always is the case that it was a woman being raped, a white woman being raped, is the same reason they're doing it now. It's a white woman being raped. We got to take his money. This is a lynching. Black men are being lynched. You want to see the rope. The ropes are your words. The ropes is your non-support. The rope happens on Instagram and on Facebook and TikTok. Shit. I don't understand why we don't understand that. But anyways, guys, for a second. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. I'm not even going to run any videos today. I'm just going to take a quick commercial break. Check some things, and then we're going to come back and close out the show. So give me a second, guys.
I tested 300 Radio to see if it lives up to the hype. Let me tell you, it's the real deal. Daily live streams, quality content, all celebrating Black American culture. Whether you're on iPhone or Android, 300 Radio keeps you connected to our community. It's more than just music, it's a movement. Join us and experience the power of 300 Radio today.
You know that feeling when you turn on the TV or radio and it's like nobody sounds like you? Yeah, it's frustrating, but things are changing. More Black voices are breaking through, telling our stories our way. It's not just about being seen, it's about being heard, and it matters. When we control the narrative, we shape how the world sees us. We're not just characters in someone else's story anymore. We're the storytellers, the hosts, the producers, and it's making waves. Places like 300 Radio are giving us the mic, letting us speak our truth. So next time you're looking for fresh content that actually gets you, give Black-led media a listen. Trust me, you won't regret it.
Hey, debate enthusiasts, get ready for a mind-blowing new series presented by 300 Radio that's about to shake up your feed. Agree to Disagree is here, and it's not your average debate show. We're diving deep into the hottest topics, bringing you passionate voices with opposing views. But here's the twist. It's all about empowering the Black American community through intellectual discourse. No holds barred, no topic off limits. From lifestyle choices to societal issues, we're tackling it all. And the best part, it's not about winning, it's about understanding. So whether you're nodding in agreement or shaking your head in disbelief, you're in for a wild ride. Tune in, speak up, and let's elevate the conversation together. Remember, if we can't agree, we can at least agree to disagree.
So you hit that go live button and boom, you're streaming. Seems easy, right? There's a whole circus going on behind the scenes. We've got a tech wizard juggling multiple cameras, a sound guru making sure you can actually hear us, and someone frantically typing in the chat. It's organized chaos at its finest. And don't even get me started on when the internet decides to throw a tantrum. But you know what? When it all comes together, it's pure magic. We're bringing you content in real time, reacting to your comments, and creating a shared experience. It's not just a broadcast, it's a conversation. Curious to see more? Check out 300 Radio and join us for the next stream.
We've got old school.
Old school.
And we've got new school.
Always plays the new music first right here.
It's 300 Radio.
All right, guys, we are back. All right, guys, like I said, it's Freaky Friday. It was a good show. We had a good conversation, I think. As you can tell, me and Ms. Love are definitely on totally opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to the whole Shannon Sharpe thing. The last thing I'll say about that is hopefully the brother can find his way outside of that. And again, if you are guilty, which I don't think he is, but if he is, then I hope you suffer the fate that you're supposed to get. This is all I can say to that. But to close out the show, it did spark something in me that I wanted to discuss before I got out of here. And that's the importance of parenting. I was having a conversation last night, and it kind of sparked me after what me and Ms. Lovey just talked about on the Chill Report. Parenting is so important, especially for young males, young black males especially. I came from a two-parent household, and I'm talking about this because of Shannon. She brought up a point that she said Shannon makes dumb decisions and she don't understand why. I don't think Shannon had males around him growing up, at least not a man. Now, I know he had his brother, and this is no denigration to any of his family. I know he had his brother, but I don't know if there were any men around. I know he speaks of his grandmother and aunts and shit a lot. But I was raised in a two-parent household. Mother and father, very religious household. But I was a big knucklehead. Let me back it up. So I always say this. I'm gonna tell you why it's so important to have parents. I'm trying to use my words kindly because I am talking about people that I know. My parents came from their own upbringing, their own backgrounds. They had their own way of parenting and wanting to raise kids. Totally different than the way that I do mine. The only flaw that I think that my parents gave to me that I can see glaringly in Shannon is that when your child comes to an early age, especially like 18, 19, 20 years old, if you have a male, black male specifically, you need to understand there's certain things that he's going to have to understand and learn if he's going to survive in this world. And if you're not teaching him, then he's going to crumble. See, I love my father. My father passed a few years ago, and I love my father to death. I get a lot of my personality traits from him. I'm a dreamer just like he was a dreamer. I'm a thinker just like he was a thinker. But if I'm honest, like I said, the keys to success in life I did not get from him. Very religious man, wanted me to follow, I guess, in his footsteps, or at least be religious myself. But I don't think, and I don't think I know, we lacked in the department of teaching about what it is to be, how are you going to build for yourself and your family. So I had a child very young, and I was around my parents, but never once did we really talk about where I was going in the future. I have children that have some age on them, and we talk about them. We talk about all the time where they're going, setting them up for the future, making sure they have a path and a plan. Now, we can always deviate and pivot from the plan, but we need to have a plan. See, at 19, 20, I didn't have a plan. The plan was any job was good enough. And for me, that wasn't even good enough because I didn't want to work just to be working. I needed a purpose. I didn't have a purpose at that age, is what I'm saying, and my father was supposed to give it to me. And again, this is not to denigrate my father, it's because he did the best he knew how to do at that time. But I did not get that. So I suffered a lot. I failed a lot, had to pick myself up, learn, frustrated the whole nine. And some of these things probably could have been rectified if only my parents had poured into me that way. Now, I don't think they had the capacity to do so because I would like to believe if they could, they would have. But they didn't. And what I try to tell people all the time is that the man that I am today wasn't the man I was 10 years ago, 15 years, 20 years ago. And it's because I found my culture. When I couldn't learn from my father, I learned from my culture. I learned honor from my culture. I learned respect from my culture. I learned that no one else is going to build it but you from my culture. I learned that you have a specific job as a man, and it's honorable to put your life on the line for you. If you got a wife for your wife, you got kids for your kids, it's honorable to do that. That's your job. I think what we have in today's world is way too many cowards, way too many people who don't understand this, but we didn't have a lot of fathers. Now, other coaches like to come in and tell us all the time and denigrate our coaches. Y'all have no baby mama, baby daddy. Y'all have no fathers around. We had men around, but we are from a culture now where we're starting to understand that. Did we have some of these? We had some inconsistencies in our upbringing, but that's not our fault. When the government decides they're going to put their sights on us and they're going to make us the problem and they're going to make sure they break up our homes, I'm not going to blame us for that. Black men didn't leave their houses because they didn't love their women. Black men were conditioned out of being in their houses. From the time of slavery all the way through Jim Crow, through after the civil rights movement, leading into the crack epidemic, you've always been removed out of your culture. On the plantation, they told you couldn't be with your wife. Jim Crow, you was with them. We did pretty well. Did you see that? We gained wealth. We gained a lot of stuff. We had to get lynched in the process of that, but we were together. After the civil rights movement, let's separate them again. Here comes welfare. Let's break them up. Here comes the crack epidemic. Let's put the males in prison. And this is the outcome that you get. You get a bunch of men who don't know how to be men. See, if Shannon had a father, Shannon would have had a real father who understood the world. His father would have told him, don't deal with that woman. Not only because she's a white woman and in this world that is frowned upon by the dominant society, but he would also have told him that that woman's too young for you. He would have challenged him on why you feel the need to be with a child. Believe me, I looked at it like this. It's just a sexual kink with a girl he found attractive. But you got to look at who that woman is. Remember, every piece of good looking food ain't good for you. That's how I look at the world. And I don't think Shannon did that enough. I think that what it was is his celebrity has gotten so big to the point where he felt like I can do what I want. But see, I know there's limitations in that business. That's why I want to run outside of it. I don't want to run in that business. I don't want to run in this entertainment world space. I want to be the counterbalance to that. Because in that world, you have to be whatever they want you to be. Otherwise, they remove you. So for me, I just try to do everything on the up and up. I try to do everything as best of my ability. And I know I'm still going to fall short. Because one thing I know about this world is that if them folks want you, you ain't got to do nothing. They'll just make it up. And then they'll create a story around it. And then when you fall victim to the story that you didn't know you was being a part of, it's your fault. So what I say to people like that in closing is, and that's to my co-host, Miss Lovey too, for the people like him, she said, just so stupid who keeps falling for the same stupid thing. Act like me. She tells me all the time that I act like the blackity black guy. Y'all remember the episode, if anybody know they're Martin Lawrence's fan, on the Martin show, there was an episode they went to a ski lodge and they had this black guy that they over-exaggerated his love for black folks. He said the first snow was black and the whole nine. If you watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about. Well, she puts that on me a lot. It's not that I do that. I am a battered child. I'm a part of a culture that has been shitted on, spitted on, buck broken, the whole nine. I know this. And one thing I'm not going to do is just say, hey, it's going to get better because they say it's getting better. No, you're going to have to prove that. And until you prove that, I'm not moving first. It's called self-preservation. Well, with that being said, I had a lot more I wanted to talk about, but we're going to leave it there for today. I told you a little bit about my upbringing. I guess that was nice enough for me to do that. But I do want to get more connected into those subjects. But anyways, hope you guys enjoy your weekend. And I'll check you guys on the next one. See you on Monday, all right? Peace. I'm out.
Whoa. Before you leave this podcast and go somewhere else, did you hit the notification bell? Because if you didn't, please do so now. And I'm talking to the people who've already subscribed. But if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that as well. Hit the like button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.